from early explorers, candles, and torches. And then what you're standing on, that is called glacial clay. It's all natural. It's from the Ice Age. We haven't tampered with it at all. It's just packed down from people going throughout the cave all these years.
There's a footprint.
And then if you want to look up, this is our cave's lifeline. And when the cave was being formed, water seeped down to form all 260 passageways we have today. And then the last thing I'm going to point out, where you see my light, that is called calcite nodules. And early explorers thought they found diamonds. So they took it to their local jeweler, and on a hardness scale, a diamond's a 10. Well, calcite on a hardness scale is a 2.5. So it's not as thick as your fingernail, or just about as much.
So is that a diamond right there?
No, that is calcite, and it's worth nothing.
It's worth nothing.
So can I have it?
We're headed in.
What were these rocks called again? These big ones?
Limestone.
Okay.
Caves. 22 of them are show caves, and 17 claim that Jesse James has been in their cave. But we know for a fact he's been in our cave, which we'll talk more about that later. Don't know if Jesse James hid out right here for a fact, but we think it'd be a pretty good spot. It has 3 entrances, 1, 2, and 3, and it can fit about 10 men. So we think it's a pretty good hideout, but around the corner we'll be coming up to the lemon squeeze or fat man's misery. It's the narrowest part of the cave. Here. And of course got that name because it resembles an alligator. So at the top we have a head, a body, and a tail that wraps around. Now keep in mind when people would come into the cave it was very dark and they needed a rock to remember where they were. So they'd use our alligator, and you will notice the alligator has a shining effect on it. That's how the oils on our hands react with the limestone. So that's why we tell people not really to touch the limestone in our cave. But this is the only place you can really touch it, so feel free. So yeah.
On the alligator? Or?
Yeah.
Touching it makes it
So
shiny, doesn't it?
smooth.
Leans against a wall, but this isn't just any wall. This wall's fuzzy and moving. What kind of wall?
A bear.
The wall of bats. And what does a teenage girl do when she runs into a wall of bats?
Scream.
She screams, making the bats go crazy, fluttering everywhere. So if I can have you turn off that light, I'm going to show you guys what it will look like with no candlelight. So it looks a bit like this. And this is complete and total darkness. If you were to stay here for a few weeks, you'd go completely blind because the nerve in your eye would be looking for light where there's none to find.
Am I blinking or? Alright.
Okay. So I don't want to go blind, so keep the lights on.
But if you were
I don't want to go
thinking
blind.
that way, I'm going to point out a few words. So the first room I'm lighting up, that is our Jesse James signature room. And like I said, we know for a fact he's been in our cave. It dates September 22nd, 1879. And we have had 3 different cryptologists confirm it's the real deal, and the most recent one was the Illinois State University. And I'd love it if I could take my tours back there, but it's very narrow. It's about the size of a $1 bill, and it's in pencil. So if someone smudged a wall, it'd be gone forever, but I promise it's back there, and we do have a picture at the end of the tour. The next room I'll be lighting up, that is our civil defense room. And in the 60s, we had the Cold War and the Cuban Missile Crisis, and our cave is considered a fallout shelter. So we keep a lot of food back there for a lot of men, but like you know in history, nothing ever happened, and they did donate it to charity at that time. So we'll head on.
Oh, that down there.
No, back where Jesse James was.
A light.
Alright, you will see the name C.E. Tucker. He was friends with Jesse James. He signed his name 250 times in our cave. We say it gives a whole new meaning to being all tuckered out.
That is a lot of times.
There's the
Yeah.
like keeper going.
Whoa.
Lola. This place needs.
The Mississippi River rises. We intend to get water down there. All the loose change you see goes towards the Tom and Becky Program scholarship we have in Hannibal.
So is this the why are there $1?
Because people just throw it down there to go towards our scholarship.
Oh, somebody do a dog.
Yeah, how was
They're all
the
dog. So that's the wishing well. What that was.
That's kind of like littering, I would think.
Maybe.
This is not too far.
I used to live.
You did? You never tell me anything.
Echo.
Homer's been there.
Alright, so I know I said you're not allowed to sit anywhere in the cave, but this is the only place you can. So you can sit on either side, just please don't go past the middle double lighting. But at this time you can take pictures, do anything you need to do. Then we'll get into a quick story and then continue with our tour.
Can we not get a seat?
Probably like past this light.
Why not?
So like between that light and then the middle double light.
So can we sit on the left side? Or?
Either side. Yep.
Oh, so not back there. Okay.
Correct.
I'm not
Yeah,
on
here,
double
you
line.
guys get up there.
Holy crap, that's cold.
That word.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, here, get together a little more.
She's not very happy. So Tom reaches into his pocket, gets some white cake from the picnic earlier that day, and tells Becky it's their wedding cake. She kind of blushes, but it doesn't change the fact they're lost in this cave. So he gets in his pocket, gets some rope, gives Becky one end, he takes the other, says pull if you need anything, and he takes off where you see that railing. Well, back in the day, that was a 7 to 10 foot drop off. Tom didn't know that. Tom sure did not want to find out. So he stood there a while thinking, what do I do? Well, here came a light in the distance. And any guesses on who that was? It starts with an I.
Indian Joe.
Indian
Yes,
Joe.
Indian Joe. And if you know the story of Tom Sawyer, he pleaded against Indian Joe in court. And Indian Joe jumped out of a 2-story courthouse building and said he'd get revenge on Tom. Well, Tom didn't stay to find out, so he grabbed Becky and took off. Indian Joe stomped out his candlelight and took off. And that's where we're headed to now.
Yay!
We're heading to a 10-foot drop off.
Okay, let her get through, you guys. She's got to go first. There
We
we
know
go.
this.
We're Indian Joe.
I can't see it. It's too dark. My phone sucks. No.
Good job.
What was the name of the company?
Oh, wait, you're good.
It was, did you read this?
And where is he
Is that where the 10-foot drop off
I'll show
was?
you guys.
Walk through.
I'll show you later. I already did. Yep.
Yay. Wasn't it fire like a crystal that dropped a jump in water?
No. I'll show you guys. Well, this is a drop off that Tom came up to. Back in the day, it was a 7 to 10 foot drop off. So at the end of our tours, we'd have a ladder for everyone to climb down. We didn't think that was very safe, so we took glacial clay from both sides and made a slope. But our slope can be very slick, so just please hold on to the railing.
Oh, thirsty riff.
I got Bob.
There's a ladder.
They hit rock bottom.
It's not slick. It's just very steep.
I literally went through that.
I'm not moving. I'm trying not to. Oh, can't see. Oh gosh, there's a rock there. Oh gosh, there's a rock there. Oh,
Oh, there's another bushing rock.
oh gosh.
That's the
Hi.
back pole.
Wow, red light.
Oh,
What are the red lights for?
Just kind
Do you not believe in
I
this?
don't see that red stuff.
of what red stuff.
With their name.
Oh, we passed it some earlier.
what? What red stuff?
Berry
with the name?
juice.
Oh,
Alright, so this is our devil's backbone. And when the cave was being formed, this was all under, so we like to call it the devil's backbone.
oh, I see the goblin face.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I saw it.
We saw it.
I don't know how to get rid of it. Oh gosh.
You will see flowstone, and then above that are stalactites that are soda straws.
See where it's dripping.
This whole thing used to be full of flowstone, but kids would come into our cave, chip off that stone, and go bragging to their friends saying, look how far in the cave I've been. not very far. We're about 35 feet below surface. And if you don't believe me, there is a tree root right where you see my light, those 3 rocks, and a tree root where you see that brown speck. So we're not very far.
Oh, and I see water dripping from one of those.
Glowstone, that's neat. I want some. Glowstone? I thought you had to go to the nether to get that.
Really?
Cascades. Now we actually do pump water over it. It is glowstone to preserve its beauty so it doesn't dry out. But it's the only place in our cave we do that. We have 3 natural springs, and you will see one around the corner. But please be careful. Groundwater does drip down and makes it very slick. There's no railings, so just take it slow.
Wait, down there's more glowstone? Neat, I'm getting so much video of this. Blue light?
I got my Crocs on.
Gravity. Oh, I got flip-flops. Gavin, no!
I got you, buddy.
How are you guys slipping? I don't get it.
You put that in there?
The blue light is natural?
No.
The water.
The water dumb.
Aladdin's palace.
Alright, so we do have our Aladdin's Palace. 1 out of our 3 natural springs. It is 99% pure. The other percent is frog. So we have a lot of frogs that like to hide out in our house.
1% frog. Let's go drink.
So we thought it was based, who thought it was based off the book?
Oh my god.
It's just a place they keep our everything.
Mark Twain. And you thought it was based off which book?
John East
Oh yeah, Aladdin, the movie. Same thing.
Alright, so we have our frozen waterfall. And in our frozen waterfall, we have black and white onyx in it, giving it that frozen frosty look. And when a stalactite and a stalagmite form together, it creates a column. And then over here we have our rainbow grotto. Not only do we have our pretty lights, but also 5 minerals are found right here together that aren't found together anywhere else in the cave. And those minerals are calcium, calcite, magnesium, gypsum, and onyx. So just 5 minerals found together. We will be passing the John East entrance passageway, but we'll talk more about it at the second one. And that is natural light. Once you get in the parking lot, now John East was our cave's first official tour guide in 1886, and he was not a very good one either. So, his tours could last from 6 minutes to 6 hours. When it would last 6 minutes, he'd bring in, make up some stories, and then yell bear. Everyone would take off running, and he'd go fishing. But when it would last 6 hours, he'd bring in, get you lost a few times, and then yell bear, so everyone would leave. But he was a part of the 1890 entrance we use today, so his tours did improve, but we use this one not very good. Now as we head down this passageway, we will be coming up to Headache Rock, or the Rock of Many Names. So if you don't watch your head, just watch your mouth.
Oh.
What did they say?
For granted, he gave her a big rock, and they never caved in.
How about that? Can you get that?
I got all of them.
This is hilarious. I love the puns. Oh my god. Jeez. Oh god, there's the drop off there.
Yeah.
This looks more like an alligator. There's the eyes.
Okay, right above the 1890. So I am going to kind of wrap up the story of Tom and Becky lost in the cave. So they were lost in our cave for 3 days and 2 nights, and they finally escaped through a passageway like this one, where they're kind of sick from being in the cave so long, so they're sitting to the bed rest for about 2 weeks. Well, if you know Tom Sawyer, he can't be in bed for no go 2 weeks, so after 1 week, he was up and ready to go. Well, Judge Thatcher said, Tom, are you ready to go back in the cave? He said, sure thing, let me go grab my candle. Well, he didn't want to hear that, so he did have the entrance blocked off so no one else could get in. Well, keep in mind, Injun Joe was still lost in the cave, and he was found dead right here with bat wings and candle wax in his mouth. He died of starvation, and he is still buried right here today. Just kidding. Because, like we know, Mark Twain was a fictional book writer, but his characters were based off of real people. So, Becky Thatcher was based off of Laura Hawkins. Tom Sawyer was based off of Mark Twain himself. And Injun Joe was based off of a man named Joe Douglas, when in reality, Joe Douglas, Injun Joe, was actually a very kind-hearted man. So when he heard he was the villain in Mark Twain's story, not very happy. So he saw Mark Twain at a book signing and said, Mark, I have been nothing but nice to you. Why am I the villain in your story? He said, well, to be completely honest with you, you're the ugliest man I've ever seen. You scared me as a child. Which he wasn't very attractive. He was half Osage Indian, half African American. The Osage Indians didn't like that. They scalped him, left him to die. But he survived that and wore a bright orange horse-haired wig. He wasn't very attractive, but no one likes to be called ugly, so he said, Mark, I will get revenge on you. And Mark Twain said, the only way you'll get revenge on me is if you outlive me. He did just that. So Mark Twain was born under Halley's Comet and died under Halley's Comet at the age of 75. Now Joe Douglas died at the age of 102. Not even from natural causes, from a bad batch of his favorite snack, pickled pig's feet. But I've never heard of a good batch. So, we will head down our last passageway. Be careful, we have a natural spring on the other side. It does get very slick. But we will wrap up the room.